Hello everybody, welcome back to Southside Miniatures. Today I'm going back to my Tudor house, which I haven't visited for a little while. I've been sort of deciding and toying with some ideas of what to do with it. But now I think I'm settled on what I've decided to do. So we're going to go ahead and start decorating the kitchen, which is over here. First of all, I've made my floor. I cut out a piece of cardboard to fit the floor here. And on that cardboard, I cut out some egg boxes into tile shapes, into rectangles and squares, and I just fitted that all, stuck that all down, and then I painted it grey and I Mod Podged over the top of it. So that will be my stone floor for my kitchen. And this cutout area here is going to be where my fireplace is going to sit. So that's my floor there. So we'll be sticking that in shortly. For the walls, I've cut out cardboard again for each of the walls because I want to stick some beams on there. And I'm going to show you now. I'm going to go down to the table and show you now how I made the oak beams that I'm going to put on the ceiling and the walls. So bear with a second, I'll just turn the camera around. Okay, this is the piece of cardboard that I cut out for my ceiling. And what I've done is I've done one each for the walls as well, and I've covered it in a cream coloured paint, which will be the back behind the oak beams. So they're all done. There's one with the window in it as well for the other side. Right, so the oak beams, what I've got is I've got some batten in there, and it's 8mm by 8mm. And to make this battening look a bit older, what I've done is I've grooved out some bits to roughen it up a little bit. So I've used my craft knife, and on the corners I've just dug out some bits on the sides like so. It doesn't matter whether it's perfect or not, because I want it to look quite rough. And once I've cut all these out, get rid of me bits and pieces there. Once I've cut all them out, I use a wire brush, and then I scrape over the wood with the wire brush just to make the effect that it's been knocked about a bit and it's quite old. It's been there for years. So, and that gives some nice scratches and grooves in the wood, which makes it look quite good, I think. Right, once that's done and you've cut all your notches out and you've scratched it up, then you can coat it with I'm using some stain and varnish. It's satin oak, and then what I'll do is I'll just paint my bits of wood like so. Doesn't matter if it's got knots in it and that, because that even adds to the effect. That's much better. So I think, whereas if you're making furniture, you don't want knots and everything in your wood, but when you're doing oak beams, I think they look better. They add to the effect. Right, so I'm going to paint all my bits here with this stain and varnish, and once I've done that, I'll come back and I'll show you all my bits of wood and we'll start sticking them in. So that's that. Right, that's all me logs finished, ready to put on. So what I'm going to start doing, this is going to be the ceiling. So I'm going to start putting my logs, sticking them onto the ceiling. I've marked out with pencil where I want them roughly. So what I'm going to do now is start sticking these down. Right, sorry, these aren't logs, are they? They're ceiling beams. I will get it right. Right, okay. We'll start sticking these down now. I'm going to use Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to use a brush to put this on the bottom. Let's get plenty of glue on there. Hopefully this will turn out fine. It's nice to actually get back to my Tudor house. I haven't worked on it for a little while now, so be nice to get back to it. Right, let's stick that first bit down there on my pencil marks. Oh. Push that down, and then I've got 6 of these, 3 to go either side. So let's get the glue on there. Nice bit of glue. And stick our first one, stick it on that pencil mark. Oh. Get that right. I think what I'll do actually is I'll stick a bit of weight on there. I'll get one of my 1, 2, 3 blocks and hold it down. That's it. Because otherwise it's going to keep lifting up and I'm not going to have any success if I don't hold it down. Let's paint the next one. Put that one across there. Make sure it's lined up. It's lovely. Oh gosh, sorry, my dog's just tripped over a box. You're right, Ted. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to carry on sticking these bits on. Once I've stuck them on, I'll come back and show you once I've finished, and then we can move on to the next stage. Okay, I've stuck all my beams on the ceiling here, and also I've done the bits on the walls what I want to do. I'll just show you that. That's the ceiling one with all my beams on. And then this is the side with the window there. And I've made a shelf there out of the oak beams. And that should, I've still got to do a window frame there. So that will come in the next video. And this is the one with the doorway just there. So the idea I've got hopefully will all come together, and we'll be sticking them in shortly. What I want to show you before I stick those in is I want to show you the wall with the fireplace on. I started making the fireplace there, look, and that fits in the gap of the floor. What I showed you earlier, the floor there with the gap, and that will be the back wall, and that will be the fireplace there. I made the fireplace out of 2mm basswood. I just cut out that shape there, and I got some straight bits of wood to go around the sides. And then for the brickwork, I just used, yet again, the same as the floor, I used egg boxes and just cut them up and then painted them grey and stuck a bit of paper, which is brick effect, on the back of the fireplace. Haven't quite finished this yet, so in a later video what we'll be doing is we'll be making the fireplace to go actually in there to make the spit and, you know, the hanging bits to put all your pots on. So we'll come back to this one at a later stage. But what I want to do next is I'm going to start sticking the flooring and all these walls, because I've got some upright supports as well to go in, and we'll see how that goes. So just let me get my bits sorted out and I'll be back with you in just a moment, and we'll start sticking these in. Right, first of all, we're going to start by sticking the flooring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Gorilla Glue, And I'm just going to coat the floor in Gorilla Glue first, and then we'll carry on and stick the floor in. I'm going to try and cover as much of the floor as I can. Might have to squirt some of this in the actual room itself. Just making sure you cover as much of the floor as possible, especially around the edges where you want it to stick. So getting right in the corners. I need a bit more than that, I think. Hang on. Let's just use up that little bit what I've got in my tray. I'll squirt a little bit there, so I've got some in the middle. Should do me. There we go. That's better. Okay. Generous bit along the edges there. Right. So I'm going to get my floor and pop it in and make sure it's central. I've got a little tiny gap either side. That's for my side walls to go in. So I will make sure that I get that straight with the little gap either side. I don't want it butting up against the wall. So that's that. And then what I'm going to do there, because this floor is quite stiff, I'm going to have to put some weights on it, one in each corner, just to make sure it sticks down properly. That's it. I'll put one there by the door, one over this side. That's it. And then on the edge here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick some clamps so that it holds the edge down nice and firmly. And we'll put these on. Put a few of them along the edge there. And that holds it down while the glue dries nicely. So once I've got these on, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go away for a little while and let that dry a little bit before I'm going to need a weight at the back there, look. Hang on. We'll have to find another weight. Something heavy. What have we got? Let's have a look. Something heavy. Okay, what I've done, I've put my clamps on the front now, and I've used a bit of wood at the front there so that the clamps don't dent into the floor and make a mark on it. So that just keeps it all nice and straight there at the front. I've also stuck a paint tin in the back there just to add a bit of extra weight, just so it sticks nice and flat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away for a few minutes, let that dry for a few minutes before I take the weight off, and then we can start on putting the ceiling in and the walls. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, that's the floor stuck now. I've left it a few minutes and now I've taken the weights off. It seems to be staying in where I put it. So I'm going to start putting some paste on the back wall, and we're going to put the fireplace wall in now. So let's pop some glue on this, put plenty around the edges. Like I said before, just make sure you get all your edges covered, and then you won't get any bits lifting up. And hopefully, if I've measured everything correctly, the fireplace should fit in that space there. So fingers crossed for that. Okay, that's all the wall glued. So now we can stick our fireplace wall in. So hopefully we'll get that stuck in. That should fit in there nicely. That's it. There we go. If I stick some 1, 2, 3 blocks on the bottom there and push it up against the wall, that'll hold the bottom. And then what I've got for the top, I've got just some odd bits of wood here, and I'm just gonna prop them up against the wall. I don't know whether this will work, but prop them up against the corners, and hopefully that'll hold the corners in place, like so. There we are. Hopefully that'll stay. There we are. That's the back wall. I'm just going to leave that to dry for a few minutes, and then I can stick the ceiling in. That fits in nicely in that fireplace gap that I got there. So yeah, that's good. I'm quite pleased with that. Let's stick that back. Lovely. Okay, that seems to be good. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry for a minute, and then we'll come back and put the ceiling in. Right, I've stuck the back wall in. I have got a few bubbles in it at the moment, but I'm hoping as it dries they'll disappear. If not, well, we just have to go with the lumpy wall. The next step, I'm going to put some glue on the ceiling, and I'm going to put the ceiling in. So while I'm putting the glue on, I'll come off camera, and then I'll come back in a minute once I've done that, and we'll stick the ceiling in. So bear with, and I'll be back in a mo. Right, we've tipped the house back, and we've put 1, 2, 3 blocks underneath, just so you can see the ceiling. I've stuck the ceiling in now, and I've got the clamps on the front like I did with the floor to hold the ceiling up at the front. And I've put some supports in here, just some old bits of wood, just to hold the ceiling up while it's drying. So that's my ceiling done now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stick the walls on first, off camera, because you've seen me stick the floor and the other 2 walls in. So yeah, I'm going to stick them in off camera, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like once it's all in. So hopefully it will look pretty good. So I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, I've now stuck my walls in, and I've put some beams, upright beams here, and some struts at the top, because I just wanted a bit of an extra feature in there. I think it's looking good so far. I'm quite pleased with it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the kitchen for today now, and I'm going to come back to it in the next video, where we'll start building the fireplace and making the logs to go next to the fireplace, and a few other bits and pieces. So I'm going to leave that there for now. I hope you like it. And then I'm going to move over to the dining room, where I've made something extra to put in there, and I'll show you what that is. Right, back to the dining room. What I've been doing, I was searching online to find a picture, a Tudor picture. I found one, and I printed it off on canvas paper there, and I've made like a scroll picture. I for the bars here, I used a kebab skewer, and for the ends, I used doorknobs. So that's made my scroll picture, which I think looks quite effective. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this over the fireplace. I'm going to use my hot glue gun, just to put some glue on the ends of the poles, and hopefully hopefully we'll get it stuck in the right place first go. So I'll put a little bit of glue on each corner there. There we are. And then hopefully I'll get it straight first time. And stick it over my fireplace. That's it. There we are. I think that looks quite nice hanging up there. So just get rid of these stringy bits. Right, that's that for now, and gradually I'll be adding more and more bits as we go along. I hope you like my mural. I'm going to zoom in a bit closer so that you can see it properly, and then I'll come back to you in just a minute and have a little chat. Well, that's where I'm going to end the video for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. Please keep subscribing and join us, join our family, and see how we get on with our houses that we're building. And once again, thanks very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye now.